Hey everyone, welcome back. As mentioned last time, we're taking a look at the Sherman Easy 8. Looking here, this is ultimately what we're going to try and recreate, this scene here, which is from Hell Let Loose, Carentan. So we're going to try and create this tank and a diorama. So here you can see, these are all the pieces that come with the set. With Tamiya, the guaranteed quality, so it was fairly easy to put together, as you'll see in the upcoming shots. So moving on to assembling the lower hull. So these are the tools I'm using to ultimately remove them to clean up the parts before putting it together. Do need to be careful for phantom keys that will attack you. Once again, we have another quality out of focus shot there. Don't worry, there's plenty more of those to come. So with the tracks, I wanted to try something different here, which is to dry assemble them without gluing them first. It'd be easier to ultimately remove them and put them back together.
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
So as you can see, I'm just using some blue tack to attach them before I'll glue them on later on. There's a lot of wheels on this set, but it's certainly worth taking the time to file these down, remove any injection mold lines, even if it does make you sweat. So you ready to start gluing?
Why, you ready?
Yes, I am. Go ahead. So after I'd finished talking to myself, which I'm technically still doing, it was on to attaching the tracks. So with a small amount of glue, attaching them on. So it actually worked out pretty well. Definitely is going to make it easier when it comes to weathering and painting this part of the tank. So moving on to building the upper hull, again following the same process, cutting out, cleaning it up, gluing it together. Again, this set is very easy to kind of put together, just as long as you follow the instructions, not too tricky. Although I did have some problems, as you'll see. Yeah, so not my finest hour, but got there eventually. So now the upper and lower hull are done, time to glue them together. Definitely starting to take a bit more shape and look like a tank. Now we're on to the turret. One thing that I did actually remember is I found this little tool. Actually makes it way easier to file and sand down those extra pieces. Only wish I'd found it earlier. But again, much of the same process, gluing, getting things wrong, etc, etc. So with the turret and hull complete, it was time to put them together. Now there's a couple of other things I wanted to do just to add some extra details to this. So first thing you'll see on this next clip is putting a hole down the barrel, so just using a pin vise, as well as filing down where the injection mold lines were. So now on to the interesting topic of cast iron texture. What you can see here is using some plastic cement just going over the surface. Now there's already some default textures on the plastic, but by using this you can give a far more visible effect, which will really show at the later stages when you paint it. So after you've gone over with the cement, you then take some putty and spill it everywhere. But again, it's the same Tamiya cement, plastic cement, and then you just go over with this with a old paintbrush, and you end up getting quite a nice textured effect. As you can see here, I did figure out that you don't really need to do the first step of just the plastic cement layer. Just going straight ahead and mixing them together seemed to work and give the same results. So I used this from that point on. Again, also applying it to the turret as well. Now we're on to the weld seams. So if you're not sure what weld seams are, this is a weld seam here, so where two pieces of metal have been welded together.
Yes, thank you for your input.
While there are some already on the model, just going over them with a hobby knife just to emphasize them and bring them out. So some seams aren't visible, so you'll have to make your own, and I picked up this epoxy putty a while back and wanted to give it a try. Basically just mix it together, apply it, and then dry hard like a plastic. After I rolled it out, I started applying it, as you can see here, and it really just didn't work. So I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the tutorial on this, because I ended up taking it off and chucking it in the bin. So if you've seen most Shermans, they'll have stowage on the back and on the sides. So I dug out a few old kits that I purchased and got some jerry cans and some various bits of stowage, and started placing them on the tank. I've also seen people use paper as tarp, so I tried and gave that a go. Unfortunately, again, I couldn't get it to work, so guess where that went? Yep, in the bin. So the final thing that I wanted to do from a stowage perspective was just add some straps. So I saw this on Night Shift, if you've ever watched his channel. He has some great tutorials, and he uses Tamiya masking tape, cut down into 1mm strips, just to make it look like it's attached as opposed to just floating in the air. So build has been completed. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Definitely some lessons learned, some new techniques I'm trying there. In the next video we'll be doing painting. So we'll be doing priming, various coats, oil, and starting to do some weathering. So tune in for the next one. Until then, take it easy.